Hey guys, it's been a little bit. Let's talk training. All right, everyone. So we are back with Pittsburgh Marathon training, officially just 5 weeks out from the race. The last time I checked in with you all, I just finished the Mesa Half Marathon in week 4 and set a PB. So if you haven't seen that video, be sure to check it out. At the time, though, it seemed like this race was incredibly far away. But now the countdown to the race is starting to feel pretty real. So I wanted to jump in here, give you guys an idea of what my training's going like, and just an update on the Runna app as well, which I've been using as the main plan for my training cycle. So if you're training for something too, or even just trying to build back up that consistency, maybe this will give you a good inside look at how things are going, the highs and lows that come with marathon training, and hopefully some lessons that you can use in your own running. All right, so let's talk training. I'm 11 weeks into a 16-week block with the Runna app. And so far, I've logged just over 330 miles. The structure has been pretty great, to be honest with you. It's been adaptable, but also consistent. Think a lot of easy runs to recover and get those easy miles, a lot of key workouts for speed, and then, of course, those long runs to build the diesel engine that I will, of course, need on race day. And, of course, that's all balanced with rest days and deload weeks like I'm currently in right now. That's been perfectly timed to allow me time to recover and largely avoid injury. What I've loved most about the plan is how it adjusts based on performance. A prime example of this is a workout from week 9. These were over/under miles, so it was only 4 miles in total with a warm-up mile and a cool-down mile at the end, but in the middle, I had mile up and overs. The first mile was basically a 7:35 minute per mile, and the second was supposed to be a 6:45. What's wild though is that I actually ran that second mile at a 6:15 pace. So definitely going a bit over the prescribed pace there, but I was feeling really good, so I went with it. When I finished the run, Runna noticed that and they adjusted my paces based on that and my predicted marathon time, which that's really cool to see, but at the same time kind of terrifying because harder workouts are on the way. Now, 2 days later, I had a 19-mile long run. Now, this wasn't one of those normal long runs where you're just doing it for the sake of distance. I wanted to simulate the race course a bit on this, and with the Pittsburgh Marathon having over 1,100 feet of elevation gain, I worked that into this long run as well, finishing with 800 feet of elevation gain. And I was pretty impressed with how my legs felt and my body felt too, because I maintained about an 8:15 mile to an 8:20 mile throughout the whole thing. So it was really confidence boosting as I headed into the next 2 weeks where going to be even higher mileage. And it's one of those workouts that's like, okay, this plan is working out. Things are going well. Later, another example of this is one of the hardest workouts I've experienced yet, which was mile up and overs. I know this sounds very similar to the workout I mentioned earlier, but there was a key difference. This was basically 4 rounds of alternating reps for a quarter mile. For the first quarter mile, I ran at a 7:35 pace. For the second quarter mile, I had to run at a 6:05 pace, and then it just altered between these. This was one of those workouts that truly pushed me, and you would have known if you were near me because you probably would have thought I was dying as I ran past you, heaving pretty loudly. But at the end of it, it was one of those ones where I came back, I recollected, I laid on the floor for a while to recover, but I felt good afterward because I knew that it was one of those workouts that was pushing me, and it allowed me to get stronger and get faster for the marathon. And then to cap off that week, I had my longest run of the entire training plan, which was 21 miles. Now, there wasn't a set pace for this. This was kind of just get it done. And I knew that's what it was going to be because my legs were feeling pretty tired headed into this, especially from those mile up and overs. So I knew this would be a bit of a slog and more about getting it done instead of being perfect. But my legs did surprise me. I maintained about an 8:15 mile to an 8:30 mile, and it was in pretty much a constant downpour for the entire 3 hours that I ran. So it was nice, extremely tiring, but it was nice because I also got to practice my fueling on this and try to nail that down and dial it in as we get closer to race day. So those are a few of the key workouts from the training plan thus far. And right now, I'm feeling tired, of course, but not in a bad way. There are no injuries, no red flags, no motivation issues or anything like that. Just that good tired that comes from hard work and being deep in a training block. And the reason I think I could say that I've stayed injury free is the progression in this plan. There haven't been any massive jumps in either distance or intensity. It's just been a gradual movement up, which has allowed me to get stronger, but also not overtrain me to the point that I'm experiencing burnout or an injury. So yeah, it's been a really well-structured plan so far, and I feel like it's building me in the right direction toward race day, especially as we are only 5 weeks out, and in all facets, physically, mentally, emotionally, it's doing excellent in all areas. So with that said, let's talk about the Runna app a bit, because it's realistically the backbone of this entire training cycle. I signed up for Runna because I realistically wanted something that was more than a cookie cutter PDF marathon training template, but also wasn't as expensive as a coach. I wanted something that could help me adapt, but also wasn't going to cost me everything I own. And I feel that's where Runna's sweet spot is it's giving you a bit of the coaching, but not the full experience, but it's also giving you a bit more than those standard marathon training plans that you find everywhere on the internet. And the interface overall is pretty nice. It's clean, it's intuitive, it's easy to find everything I need, whether it's my schedule, my pacing, my progress. There's even a nice little part where it tells me how many days until race day. So that's a nice reminder and a boost of motivation each time I log into that. And what I really love about the app is the ability to just drag and drop the workouts to adjust them based on what you need. I have used this throughout the training plan to adjust based on travel, based on work, or maybe I just needed an extra rest day. Whatever it was as simple as just dragging and dropping to another day, which is nice for me at least, and I'm sure people like me, for staying consistent, because otherwise you'll get out of your training plan really quickly. Even for example, when I missed a run in week 10, it was more painful mentally than it actually was for the training plan, because it was an easy run, so it was an easily skippable one in that aspect, not one of my key workouts, but the training plan continued on and it didn't affect that cycle at all. And honestly, the extra day of rest, I think, paid its due in the following week, which was my longest run and one of my biggest weeks of the plan thus far. So are the workouts fun? I guess it depends on how you define fun, but yeah, I think they kind of are. There's some variety in it, which is nice and keeps things interesting. I personally look forward to my key workouts, my speed workouts, because I know I'm getting a lot from them and they've been challenging me, especially a lot recently. So that has been amazing. And the pacing has mostly been spot on. There was some adaptability that it needed in the beginning as it started to learn more about me, and also I was progressing fitness-wise because I was following the training plan. So it did need to adapt, I believe 2 times in total, once after the Mesa Half Marathon and then once with that workout I explained earlier. But that has been nice as it's dialed me in more, because that's where it's truly finding that edge for me of what's going to push me, but again, not make me quit or give up or potentially get injured at the worst case. And it also gives you daily reminders of your workout for the day. I don't personally use these as much because I typically know what my workout is going to be. But if you are a person that relies on accountability, this little nudge is probably what you need. And I'll be honest, checking off each session as you go, weirdly satisfying. There is something addicting about going through the week and seeing all of the check marks as they add up and know it's just building up that plan. So with the exception of that one workout I missed, of course, which still bugs me, but it's a really cool feature. And if you're someone who looks for that like completionist or that gamified style, I do think it has some of that. As for value, I think it's pretty solid. Is it the cheapest thing? No, but for what you get, I think it's pretty good. You get adaptability, you get the structure of a workout, and you get some coaching, not to the level of what you would get if you had a coach, but again, you're also paying a lot less than you would for a coach. Personally, I did the year, and I'm going to continue using it after the Pitt Marathon for other races I have planned for the rest of the year. Will I renew next year? I don't know. We'll see as I continue to use the app. But if you had to ask me today, I would probably say yes. It's helped me stay more consistent, and it's been an excellent option for my training plan. So I don't see a reason I would break from it right now. So now looking ahead, with only 5 weeks to go, the race is starting to feel more real. And that's nice knowing the training is there. I've been consistent and I've been hitting all my key workouts, and my mileage is also higher than it's ever been. So I am feeling the fittest I ever have. But now we also move into that moment in the training where all of that fitness and all of that training has to turn into execution. So with that said, my goal for the race, honestly, I'd love to hit a Boston qualifier. That's 2 hours and 55 minutes or faster, which equates to a 6-minute, 40-mile pace. I do know this is a bit ambitious for a first marathon, especially on a hilly course like Pittsburgh, but I like ambitious goals. It gives me something to shoot for. And as I've been training and feeling more confident and more fit, I don't see a reason not to go for it. Not in a reckless way, but in a let's try it out, let's see what happens kind of way. Now, Runna is predicting for me a 3-hour 7 to a 3-hour and 13-minute marathon. I would consider that kind of my secondary goal. I would love to hit in that, and I'd be very happy if I do. My primary goal would absolutely be a BQ, but the secondary goal would definitely be don't blow yourself up trying for a BQ and still fall within Runna's predicted times, because I'd still be extremely happy with that time. With all of that said, I do have some concerns as I head into race day. The first being pacing. I've never run a full marathon, and I've never run a full marathon at a 7:10 mile, and especially not run one at a 6:40 mile, which would be the BQ pace. So I'd be lying if that didn't give me some nervousness. I've done it in training at some longer distances, but there is definitely a difference between running, say, 15 miles and running 26 miles at that pace. So there are benefits to speed being faster on race day with the crowd and everything, but still, it makes me a bit nervous, so we'll see how that goes. Also, the second would be fueling. I'm typically pretty bad at this. I forget, I try too late and make up for it, and it just doesn't end up going well. But it is something, as I mentioned, that I've been focusing on in my long runs, especially to have it dialed in for race day, because I know that can make or break the race, especially the second half of that race. So it's something I have to have ready and I'm focused on. So we'll see how that goes. Luckily, I've got a pretty awesome opportunity coming up. Next weekend, the Pittsburgh Marathon is having a race preview. So depending what distance you're running, you can run one of the distances. The longest that they have is 20 miles. I'm supposed to have a 19-mile race practice, so this lines up perfectly. So I'll get to practice my fueling, practice my pacing, and ultimately get a course preview so I know what to expect on race day, the areas where I should push, where I should conserve, so on. It'll be nice to just have an idea of that before race day. Honestly, that'll either be a huge confidence builder or a huge reality check. But either way, both are beneficial to my performance on May 4th in Pittsburgh. So yeah, of course I'm nervous, but I'm also confident. I put in the work and my paces are showing it, and I'm feeling fitter than I have. So now it's just about staying healthy, staying strong, and dialing in that race plan. So yeah, as you can see, training's been going well. I mean, I'm tired, don't get me wrong. My legs are basically held together with caffeine and a bit of stubbornness, but I am moving in the right direction as we get closer and closer to race day. It hasn't been perfect. There's been missed runs, there's been the highs and lows, motivation struggles at times, but it's all a part of the process, and that's something that you do have to deal with in marathon training. I mean, that comes part with the mental aspect, the emotional aspect, and then, of course, you're putting in the physical aspect. So if you're training too, or you're just like type 2 fun, then be sure to continue following this journey. I'll be sharing it here on Instagram, on TikTok, and if you still read blogs like it's 2008, well, I still write blogs like it's 2008. So be sure to check out my page at The Travel Runner, where I'll be sharing it there as well. So I truly appreciate you all sticking around and watching this. So if you haven't yet, be sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment as well. I'd love to hear from you all. I love responding to your comments. And hopefully I'll meet you out on the trail or out on the road somewhere. I'll probably be very out of breath, but be sure to say hi regardless. And if you see me there on race day, definitely come say hi to me. And until next time, run fast, travel slow.